So on this episode of Foster Denovo Talks, we speak with Seb Balrow. He talks about his career in financial advice and where his drive came from.
So I was actually working in the marketing department, cold calling. So the way it played out was I always said I wanted to work in Canary Wharf. So I literally Googled financial planning roles in Canary Wharf.
Okay.
Found 10 firms, looked at the inquiries email, sent my CV in. Just turned 23 and there was still a few concerns about whether I'm ready to be an advisor. And fair play to the managing partner, he took the risk and gave me the opportunity to start advising. So in July, when I just turned 23, I went out and started advising and sitting in front of clients.
And really about his family and how he's always looked up to his grandfather and why that's been the driving force behind his career so far.
Towards the end of the year, I had a family matter. I lost my granddad, who was like the most important person in my life, and it kind of just threw me off a bit. I've seen firsthand the sacrifices he made and how hard he's worked. So as a third generation son, I've got no excuse not to be successful in my own career and do for the family what he did and put me in the position that I am today.
So do check it out. Hi Seb, thanks for joining me on Foster Denovo Talks.
It's an absolute pleasure.
Great. So Seb, first I'd like to find out a little bit more about you and how you got into financial advice.
Sure, it wasn't the original plan. So
what was the original plan? I'm intrigued.
So I was studying at university, studying accounting and finance, and my third year got cut short during COVID. So at that point, so I've graduated in July, I just started applying for jobs straight away. And in the course that I was doing, you normally have two career routes. You either go into investment banking or look to do your accounting qualifications. So I started just immediately applying for investment banking roles, and that didn't go too successful.
And you didn't think accountancy, that was out for you. It was always going to be investment banking.
Yeah, so and I was just failing miserably, which wasn't going through many interview processes. And so it got to a stage where my brother said to me, why don't you think about a career in financial planning? Because he was working at an IFA at the time. And then that's where I started looking at IFA opportunities.
Okay, all right. And your first role then in the financial advice world, what was it?
So I was actually working in the marketing department, cold calling. So the way it played out was I always said I wanted to work in Canary Wharf, and now I'm looking at financial planning roles. So I literally Googled financial planning roles in Canary Wharf.
Okay.
Found 10 firms, looked at the inquiries email, sent my CV in, and started cold calling them, being like, I've sent my CV
Love
in.
it. Just straight in.
Give me an opportunity. And out of those 10, 2 got back to me and both gave me, offered me positions in their company. But those positions would be in the marketing department because I was way too young to be an advisor at that point in time, and I wasn't qualified.
So you weren't qualified and you got no experience. So, right, you were offered a role in the marketing department. Now, I think it's quite cute when people call it the marketing department. Describe what that role actually was.
So it was literally cold calling the whole day, 100 dials a day, booking appointments for advisors. It wasn't the most fun experience.
So it's business development, isn't it?
Development.
It's cold calling, business development.
That's correct.
Obviously following all the GDPR rules that we must.
Of course.
But that's what you were doing. It sounds bleak.
Yeah, I had to say a lot of positive affirmations in the mirror before every single day. I can't lie.
I'm a strong, independent woman. Is that what you were saying?
Exactly. But it wasn't easy. But I always said, like, post-university, I wanted to push myself outside my comfort zone to acquire skill sets that I know is going to be beneficial in my career. And getting used to rejection on the phones and how uncomfortable it makes you, I was like, yeah, fresh out of uni, why not? Let me give it a go.
Okay. And how long are you doing that for? Because that's a really tough gig.
So I was doing it for a year and a bit.
Oh my God.
During that time, I was getting qualified. So I managed to get qualified within 8 months. But I still had to be in the role until a year and a half. So when I just turned 23.
So which exams did you do whilst you were doing that then? It was your level 4 diploma?
That's correct, the CISI.
Okay.
So I got those done within eight months.
Okay,
and then
fast.
I was getting well remunerated for cold calling.
Okay.
So at that point, just maximising it and then transitioning to becoming an advisor.
Okay. So you did a year and a half. I can't believe anyone does a year and a half of that.
It's just, I think back now, I don't know how I did it. But
it shows some serious resilience, though.
I remember my first cold call. So never had any calling experience before. I was like, let me go into one of the booths. I do a booth. So I wasn't confident on the phone. Went in there, first cold call, my voice broke on the phone, and the guy put the phone down. I was like, what a great start.
Yeah, brilliant.
But
I'm made for this.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. Okay. But obviously you got better at it and all the rest of it. So you did it for a year and a half. Hats off to you.
Yeah.
Where did you go from there then?
So just turned 23, and there was still a few concerns about whether I'm ready to be an advisor. And fair play to the managing partner, he took the risk and gave me the opportunity to start advising. So in July, when I just turned 23, I went out and started advising and sit in front of clients after obviously got approved by that firm to go out.
So you went through all the compliance and all of
exactly.
that side of that you need to and got signed off,
So that's
etc.
so I did it for a year, and the 3 months or year, like the 6 months is all the approval to actually go out and start advice.
Right. And how was it advising for the first time? I mean, we know what happened with your first cold call, so hopefully it was a bit more successful. So what happened when you went out for your first client meeting then?
So then naturally there was a bit of imposter syndrome. It's very different to being on the phone speaking to a client. Now you're sitting down in front of a client and you've got to think about body language, how you carry yourself. So it was tough to begin, but just due to the volume of meetings I was sitting down with, I picked that up quite easily. So it wasn't too bad of a transition.
And how many meetings, what did a standard week or a month look like for you then?
Yeah, so if I wasn't in meetings, I was cold calling, still just packing my diary.
So you were still doing that side of things as well?
I've still doing it to this day. So
I know, I've seen you.
So I was trying to sit down with 25 to 30 first per month.
Wow.
So I was aiming for 2 bookings per day. And basically, I've had a 50% conversion of who would actually sit the meetings. So that would equate to about 25 to 30 meetings per month.
Wow. Okay. And you were there for how long then, the firm that you were at?
So I was there for nearly 3 years.
Okay.
So 1 year, 2 years. So 1 year in the marketing role, 1 year advising, and that's when I moved on.
And so what drove you to think, because obviously the firm, you enjoyed it, they were good for you, you said the managing partner was great. So what made you then look for a new opportunity?
Yeah, so the first year was an experience and a half. So don't by all means, I didn't hit the ground running. So it took me about 2 to 3 months to find my feet. So luckily I started advising in July. So I had before Christmas to just find my feet and understand how I want to conduct my meeting processes. My mentor there, Lucy, really helped me as well. She watched my recordings on my meetings, gave me valuable feedback, and I implemented those changes. And after each meeting, I was journaling. So what went well in that meeting, what didn't go well, and then just trying to improve. So when I first started in the new year, I had business started going really well, was going good. And then towards the end of the year, I had a family matter. I lost my granddad, who was like the most important person in my life, and it kind of just threw me off a bit. And then my way of coping with that was just by distracting myself with work. And I felt like things started getting a bit repetitive. I didn't feel like my technical knowledge was growing as much as I thought, being an advisor. So I was like, you know what? I just need a fresh start. I'm going to look at new opportunities.
Okay, so it was a little bit of a personal situation, but also you wanted to grow technically and sort of find somewhere else. Okay, and what was it that drew you to Foster Denovo?
Yeah, so moving was a big decision because I would obviously have to walk away from the practice that I've built. So it wasn't an easy decision, but I had a clear framework in terms of what I was looking for with the financial advisory firms I was talking to. So one framework, making sure they provide me the right structure for me to grow and scale my business. 2, in terms of sharing the same value, so always putting the client first, unwavering integrity, and providing exceptional service to the clients. And 3, in terms of the actual proposition, is it true holistic financial planning where you're leaving you're uncovering all the different variables impacting the client, leaving no stone unturned to provide them with a clear financial plan. And FD ticked all those boxes for me. And what really also appealed to me was the caliber advisors working within the firm. And being so early on in my career, I wanted to join a firm where I could learn, be like a sponge in front of with these advisors and pick up how they've grew their practices and implement certain elements into my own business as well.
And just picking up on that, we're obviously part of one of the mentoring groups that we have. So how have you found that sort of support and, the mentoring piece and learning from others? Because you're in the office a lot, aren't you?
Yeah. So Nikos has been incredibly helpful. Like the caliber, the whole proposition is completely different. And the caliber of clientele I'm now sitting down with is a lot more high net worth compared to what I was dealing with in the past. And Nikos has been invaluable in terms of how I should be conducting those meetings, how I need to be carrying myself in those meetings, and also give me general guidance in terms of what I should be doing going forward when you're dealing with cases like that. So it wouldn't be without that support base of what I'm doing. Like I wouldn't be doing that today if it wasn't for that support.
Brilliant. Okay.
Sense?
No, it makes perfect sense. I thought you were going to talk about me for a minute, but it's fine. What surprised you in the first couple of months that you joined Foster Denovo? Right. Okay.
You did, to be fair to you, did warn me that it's going to be completely different. I was like, no, it's going to be fine.
I did try. I always try and be very upfront with everyone when they join that how things will look different, and it's never easy the first 6 months. And you were like, no.
I've heard that before. But like, where I managed to scale the business quite quickly at my last firm, I thought it'd be the exact same copy and paste. However, it was far different. The proposition was completely different. The processes were completely different. And where the caliber of clientele was a lot more high net worth and the cases were a lot more complex, cases were taking longer. So it was a natural readjustment that I had to make by just taking a step back, fully learning the proposition. Once I was confident in the proposition, increasing the volume of meetings so I could start closing more deals.
Yeah, and you have been, it's a bit of a roller coaster, isn't it, when you first start, because you have sort of high points and then you have sort of the low points, and we've been through them together. You have always wanted to be self-employed, and you've always been self-employed, haven't you, since you left uni, right? Okay. Where's that come from? Because that scares a lot of younger people, right?
It comes from my granddad. So like was the most important part of my life. Like the values and lessons he taught me is incredible. So he came to England in the 1960s with £10 to his name, worked on site as a labourer for a few years, built up his savings and started his own construction firm, which proved to be very successful. And he continued working until the age of 80, died at 85.
Wow.
So he was an absolute crafter, and it was so refreshing as a young boy to see how hard your granddad's working. On my summer holidays, I used to go to site with him, play in the sand. I used to have a little mini wheelbarrow as well. And his labourers used to like put stuff in my wheelbarrow, used to take it to the skip. It's child labour if you think about it now, to be fair. But I used to go back to school and everyone used to be talking about their nice holidays that they've been on. And I was like, I was on site playing with sand. And the teachers used to look at me a bit concerned, but I was like...
No, I'm fine. It's fine.
I've seen firsthand the sacrifices he made and how hard he's worked. So as a third generation son, I've got no excuse not to be successful in my own career and do for the family what he did and put me in a position that I am today.
I mean, it's a great story, and I've seen it in you, because you do have times when, things aren't going well and, you're expecting a client to sign business or whatever, and they don't, and you just never stop. Like, and I know, and we've spoken about it before, and it's really commendable, and especially somebody that's at your age. And I know that we've got some of our admin guys and all the rest of it that sort of look at you and go, well, I actually can be an advisor. Like, even at this age, like, you can do it. And there's some of them that wanted to be employed, and I've sort of now watched you and a couple of others and gone, actually, do you know what?
Yeah.
Self-employed is the way. So I can't, I mean, I love what you guys are doing.
And you want to take risks whilst you're young. You haven't got a family, children, and then I was like, why not take the risk? And if it fails, it fails. But at least I know I've tried it. Because I don't want to look back and regret any of the decisions I made. I should have taken that risk. I was like, I'd rather just, if I commit myself to something, give it my all. If it works out, it works out. If it doesn't work out, it works out. I've got life lessons I'll learn from that situation. So failure leads to positive growth. So.
Lovely. I mean, and what does your business look like now? And what are you aiming for? Like, what's the goal that you've got?
So business is growing quite quickly. So the main objective is just to keep scaling the business, grow the AUA. So I'm targeting 4 million to be brought on board every single year as a minimum. Looking to expand. Delegation is quite new to me, so making sure I do give more responsibility to Hannah. She's always saying you're a bit of a control freak. Sorry, Hannah. But yeah, just keep growing the business, and my 10-year goal is to make sure I've got 40 million under management. So at that point in time, I would look to hire a practice manager to handle all the administrative and operational tasks. So I could just focus on sitting down in front of clients, helping more people, and providing exceptional service to my existing clients.
Lovely. And I've got it on record, 40 million, 10 years. So
we'll get there.
That's on. And finally, if somebody was listening to this, someone young, they're thinking about financial advice, they're not entirely sure about it as a career, what would you want to say to them, or what do you think they would want to hear?
It is the most rewarding career I've found, because you can see firsthand the positive impact you're having on clients' lives. And you build a rapport with them. I've heard some exceptional stories to my clients based on their journey, and you pick up on that. And it's life lessons that you also pick up. But I'll say, if there was three things: put yourself in uncomfortable situations, take your time to acquire skill sets that you know are going to be beneficial in your career. Be positive. It's not going to be plain sailing. You're going to see a lot of failure, but like I mentioned, failure leads to positive growth. If you want to be self-employed, manage your risk whilst you're training, whilst you're getting qualified. Try to build up 6 to 12 months worth of expenditure, as that will relieve a lot of financial pressure as you make that transition to be a self-employed advisor. Because unless you're the 1%, you're not going to hit the ground running. You're going to have to find your feet. Yeah, that's what I would say.
No, and I think that's brilliant advice. And I don't really think that we need to say anything else. So thank you so much. And thank you for all the positivity and, help that you bring to the London office. It's great. So thank you.
It's an absolute pleasure. Thank you.